Well, unfortunately, it's not hard to find several examples in my life of times when I did not rise above. It's hard. I'm going to tell you a couple stories. The first one is about when I was playing basketball. There was a guy named Greg Rosales, and he was really good. He was about my height, so he wasn't super tall, but he was stronger than me, and he was fast, and he was highly skilled. And I remember I would get really pumped up when I was playing against him because it was a pretty even match sometimes. And one night we were playing and it was a pretty heated game back and forth. It was close. And this ball got passed down the court and I was running and I saw the ball hit the line. And in basketball, when the ball hits the line, it's out. And so I was about, 2 or 3 yards away and I was running fast and I saw it hit the line. I go, it's out, it was out, it was out. And Greg Rosales was on the other side of the court. And he yelled, no, I saw it. It wasn't out yet. It wasn't out. And I was like, no, it hit the line. I was right there. I could see it. He said, no, I saw it too. It clearly did not hit the line. And we didn't know what to do, because in pickup basketball games, you kind of have to figure all this stuff out together as a group. And so because I was closer to the ball, they ended up saying that the call went to what I had said. But I remember what you do is you check it up top, after you do that. And so it was our ball and Greg Rosales was guarding me. And as he checked it to me, he took the ball and he kind of like pushed it into my chest and pushed me back. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? He's like, what? Doing what? I was like, why are you pushing the ball into me? He says, I'm not doing anything. And it was very clear to me that he was still upset about the call. And as I reflect on this incident, I remember that it wasn't the first or the last time that Greg Rosales and I, because we were both so competitive, got into, a verbal sparring match. And I think back on that now, and I don't know if I was right or he was right. Maybe I saw it wrong. I was closer. But a lot of the times you can have like multiple truths in what's going on. We oftentimes don't actually know where it landed because we don't have video evidence. And oftentimes what we think we saw is not actually what we saw. And I wish I had thought about that at that time and risen above it and, said something maybe to Greg Rosales about how, we don't know, but I appreciate that he's willing to, acquiesce to what I thought that I saw. Interestingly enough, Greg Rosales and I became friends. And as we got closer, I came to see that he was indeed an incredibly kind and wonderful man. And I look back on that time and just kind of wonder, like, maybe I could have been better earlier. The second story is a guy on my soccer team. His name was Matt. And I remember that we too would come to loggerheads sometimes. And one time we were playing in a short-sided game. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but we disagreed about some call or other. And then we got in kind of a talk about it. And then later on, we were trying to decide whether we should make the game smaller or make it bigger. And I like to have space when I'm playing soccer, so I wanted it bigger. But Matt was like, no, we know how to make it smaller. Then you have to play tight and you have to have better close control. And we started arguing about which one to do. And he just kept on arguing. And I just got so frustrated, I left the game. And all the guys were like, why are you leaving, Mick? I'm like, I can't handle it. And I just left. And I went to the other side of the field and I just was shooting at the goal on my own. And after a few minutes of being on my own, I was like, okay, I can go back and I play. And I went back to the small-sided game and I played. And it was fine, but I never made amends or made up with Matt at that point. Later in the season, we got into another loggerhead sort of argument about stuff. And it made me feel terrible. I really didn't like who I was when I was interacting with Matt. So I took some time to reflect, and eventually I was like, it takes two people to be in a conflict. And maybe what I need to do is just step back from that conflict. And so I hadn't been rising above, but I decided that I was going to do that. And one time I just stopped before a game and I started talking to Matt and I said, Matt, we've had some conflicts in the past and I just want you to know that I really respect you as a person and I don't want to have conflicts with you anymore. I think you're a good person. Ironically, he was actually a teacher at a high school in a neighboring district. And I said, so I'm really hoping that from here on out, we can get along better. And I want to apologize for my role in times that we've had arguments. And he was like, nah, man, don't worry about it. It's all good. Because that's what people say. But later on, he came back to me and he actually looked at me in the eye and he said, Miko, I think I can do better too. And I think we can get along better. And I appreciate your apology. And we did. From then on, we never really had a conflict again. And he indeed was a very good human being. My last story is about another person also on my soccer team who was much better than I was at rising above. His name was Fernando. And I remember we were playing in a game and this guy came in and they were playing and Fernando liked to slide tackle a lot. So he did a slide tackle and the other guy really didn't like it. So when they both got up from the slide tackle, it wasn't even a foul. The guy just pushed Fernando to the ground like really hard and Fernando went flying. And everybody came running over and the referee came over and Fernando got up and like guys were getting into it. And I was like, Fernando, are you okay? Are you okay? He's like, yeah, no problem. Hey, don't do anything. It's okay. We're like, and guys were like, but the guy pushed you down. It was so terrible. And Fernando's like, no, it's okay. Nobody wants to be like that. And I just remember thinking, wow, what an amazing attitude to see that even though this other man had done something, that Fernando saw that probably the guy really didn't want to do it. I admire Fernando. So thanks for hearing the story. It is difficult to rise above, but every time I have found the power to do so and to be kind, even in the face of negativity, I'm proud of myself. And life generally is better.